Okay, I'm going to do a little video here. We've actually gone through to the waiting room for the Regal Princess. This is the medallion that I discussed in an earlier video. And so far it has gone extremely fast. There was virtually no line waiting. We got here about probably about 10:30 to 11 a.m. And so far the medallion seems to be working very well for boarding the ship, and I'll keep you updated as we use the medallion for some other things. I should add one thing that the medallion actually got us into a separate line with virtually no waiting, and after you get into the line, you're sent to a little kiosk where they scan your medallion and check your passport to make sure that all the data is into their system, and then we were given a map of the ship and a list of where the dining would be this afternoon, and also we got a card assigning us to a boarding group. This is our boarding group. It's probably backwards, but it's 17, and so we're waiting right now in an air-conditioned area. Last year we went on the Norwegian Jade, and it did not go nearly as smoothly as so far this is going. Our cabin was Ba 208, and when we first got to our cabin, the medallions that myself and my wife were wearing did in fact register on the tablet next to the cabin door, and our pictures popped up and the door was unlocked when we got to the cabin. However, after the first day, it started to have some problems. It would either not really register either one of our medallions as we approached until we actually touched one to the tablet, and it wouldn't display our pictures. So I went down to guest services, and they took the medallions in the back and refreshed them. And they worked maybe for a little while, registering before we reached the door, but then they stopped working again. So the medallion system, as far as unlocking your door, before you actually get to the door, really has some bugs too, and it's possible that that can be fine-tuned, but don't expect that the door is going to be immediately opened when you get to the door. It was actually, you had to stand in front of the door a little while before it actually verified who you were. There's another interesting thing. With the medallion system, they don't give you a cruise card anymore, like a credit card shaped card. And their energy conservation system in the room requires a card to be placed into a slot just as you enter the door in order to turn on the power to the room. And when you leave the room, you're supposed to remove the card, and so all the lights will automatically turn off after a set period of time. But with a medallion system, no card, so they provide a plastic card in that slot that you can use. That's a shame, because there's no reason why the medallion system could not detect the presence or absence of someone in the room directly. And so I certainly hope that they at least try to implement that use of the medallion to replace the need of putting the card in the slot. It should be fairly easy to do. Well, I'm out by the pool area, as you can see, and I just tried to use Ocean Now using the medallion system to see if I could order a drink here as I sit at this table. And the interesting thing is they say that the application only will work in certain venues on the boat. It won't even work actually in any of the main dining rooms. So they really haven't fully implemented Medallion as far as ordering drinks and food. There are areas that will apparently work. I'll try those later. But I had hoped I'd be able to order a drink here out by the pool. That doesn't work. Okay, when you try and use the app to order drinks, this is what will pop up if you don't have, if where you are, you can't be serviced with the Ocean Medallion system. And it does list the venues where it will work. If you look down the list, you'll notice none of the main dining rooms are listed, and actually the pool area is not listed, but there's certain bars that are listed there. The one that is interesting, the Royalty Circle, is one of the bars on the plaza level, and there's another plaza deck. It says Piazza. In theory, you should be able from that list to order a drink anywhere in the plaza. However, I tried to order a drink sitting on the far side of the plaza near the scenic elevators, and it didn't work there. However, when I sat in the Royalty Circle bar, which was just across the plaza, it did work. So while I was seated in the Royalty Circle bar, I decided to try the app again. And so I accessed the drink order button, and that took me to a screen that listed all sorts of drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. And I chose the alcoholic, and it gave a lot of different types of drinks that you could order by category, frozen and on the rocks and other things. I wish I had captured that screen because it was interesting. And also it listed some drinks that were not on the printed menu that are around the bars. One specifically was the Singapore Sling, which actually was quite reasonably priced compared to some of the other frozen drinks. And in this case, it was $7.25. And so I selected that. And the screen that you see there popped up current order, and it showed that that a Singapore Sling for $7.25 was ordered, and at the time what time it was ordered, and then it had it was supposed to show a tracking of how the order was proceeding. Preparing and serving was listed there. However, within 7 minutes, one of the servers, I think his name was Remy, he came over with the drink, and he pointed to me. He knew who I was. And I suspect when I placed the order on their terminal, my picture popped up, so they were able to identify me, who it was in the Royalty Circle area. And he brought it over, and he was smiling broadly, and we both gave each other thumbs up. I get the impression that I may have been one of the first people in that area, at least, to use the app to order a drink. But it worked perfectly. In that venue, it came in under 7 minutes. And the app never registered that it was being prepared or being served. That's not important. Just the fact that I was able to order a drink when I wanted to without having to track down a server and have it delivered quite quickly to the table, I think was an outstanding demonstration of the potential of Ocean Medallion. And just for the record, this is a picture of my Singapore Sling. I've tested the Ocean Medallion Shipmate location system, and that seems to work pretty well. And actually has pretty good resolution on at least on deck 5, even though
My wife walked across the piazza to the other side where I was sitting. It did register her actual location. The Wayfair part of the app really doesn't completely work as I would have expected. What you have to do is you have to identify where you want to go, select that, and then there's a button that appears that says how to get there, or find the way there. So that's another bit of a gotcha. I would have thought that it would allow you to search for a venue and then ask for directions in that direction rather than having to know the venue name and then select it. Also, on it does have a deck plan, a map. You have to know what deck your venue is on. If you try to do a search, it won't automatically change to the deck plan where the venue you're looking for. So you have to really know what deck it's on before finding where it's located.
So when you open the Ocean Compass app, this is the screen that you'll see once you're on board. If you're not on board, it'll look a little different. And it has wayfinding, shipmates, chat, and ship information. And the shipmate location app and the wayfinding are what we're talking about right now. And so that's what the app really looks like when you're on board ship. It also provides you the opportunity for the chat. So when you click on the Shipmate Bubble, this is what the screen that pops up. It lists all of your shipmates. In this case, I just had my wife as a shipmate, but you can add your kids or even friends that you have met on board to this. So that's the first page. And if you want to locate the shipmate, you would click on the image of the shipmate. So this is the next screen that pops up after you click on the picture of the shipmate, and it shows you the picture again, and a button appears that says locate. And when you click on the locate button, this is the next screen that pops up. It shows you a deck plan of where the shipmate is located along with the location on the plan. And it also has a button that says get me there, and that will provide directions of how to go from your current location to where your shipmate is. Like I said before, the search function in the wayfinding app part of Ocean Compass really doesn't allow you to type in a name of a venue like Gelato. It'll come up and say it's not found unless you are currently on the correct deck. So if you have the deck plan of deck 16 and type Gelato, it's going to say I can't find it. I really should have been able to identify that it's on deck 5 and switch to deck 5. Okay, this screen only comes up if you go to deck 5 and click on the pop-up for Gelato. Then you'll get to this screen that will allow you to hit the get me there and have a path from your present location to that venue.
I will say that the Medallion Net, that's the internet service on Regal Princess, is actually working quite well. It's quite fast. I really don't see a whole lot of difference between the speeds I've been getting with this internet and through cellular, like an LTE internet service. So it's pretty close, does a pretty good job. I've been able to do a lot of streaming as well, and so that's a positive part of their system. And I'll keep track. I will mention one thing. They did advertise that they had a Medallion Net service on Princess Key, as that's their private island. And while I had a service for a time, about an hour after we came ashore, the service just totally went out. It basically said no internet connection. It connected to the Wi-Fi hotspot, but it said there was no internet connection. So that is an issue, at least with respect to service on Princess Key. Our first stop on the Regal Princess trip that we're taking was at Princess Key, and we went ashore for a couple of hours and then came back aboard. And when I checked the folio, it showed that we had a charge of souvenirs on Princess Key. Well, we didn't do any charge, and I went to the service desk to talk about it. I have to go back again, but they pulled the tag that was signed for, and it wasn't my wife's signature. Part of the problem with the medallion system is that in some venues they can't take the medallion yet, so you basically give them your room number, and you know that lays open a chance for some fraud, because you get no cruise card anymore, so they can't even do a scan of the cruise card. I suspect that was the cause of this improper charge from Princess Key, because I suspect that that isn't fully implemented in their shops. So, you know, that's another negative as far as the medallion system. The Ocean Medallion System actually has 5 apps, 6 if you count Ocean Concierge, which isn't a true app yet. It actually is web-based, but it looks like they're trying to do some sort of an app for it. But as a practical matter, not counting the Ocean Concierge, there's only 2 of the 5 that have any utility on board the ship. That's Ocean Now and Ocean Compass. They both can be useful. The problem, they really need to take those 2 apps and integrate it into a single app, where you can use both the compass function and the service function, so you don't have to keep switching between the 2 apps. I've had a lot of problems remembering which app does what, so they really should integrate those 2. And the Ocean Concierge, I had trouble finding how to get to that once I got on board, because you have to type in the ship name princess.com, so it's like regal.princess.com to get to the web page of that concierge function. And of course, if you had an app that would do it, that should not be done automatically. It should know what ship you're on and be able to do that. Also, I tried to go in and log on to through the Ocean Concierge with the login IDs that I'm using in the other apps, and it wouldn't accept it. I had to really play around to get to a function that I could actually see the account folio on the trip. So, you know, that makes it really difficult for someone who doesn't have a whole lot of experience in computers. And quite frankly, I have a lot of experience in computers. I've had a computer since 1975. I've written for computer magazines. I have more than 300 articles published. So I am somewhat of an expert on computer technology. And if I'm having a problem using these apps, I can imagine that somebody less experienced would have problems too. One other thought, the chat app that's built into Ocean Compass does work pretty well, but it has one problem that I wish they would correct, and I'm even thinking about going to the medallion desk and making a suggestion. But if you have the app, most communication apps have some means of activating notification on your phone, so you know when you get a new chat coming in, and so you can then look at the app and read the message that was sent to you. But the chat function in Ocean Compass provide for that. I looked in all the different settings to see if there was a way to turn on notifications, and there's not. So, you have to periodically check the chat to see if you got anything. And, that's also a defect. They should have the ability to either turn it on or off so you know when you got a new chat. That's just one more thought about issues with the Medallion system.
Okay, this is the screen that pops up in Ocean Compass when you press ship information. And it shows what the heading of the ship is and how fast the ship's going. But it really is kind of a minimal amount of information for ship information. It would have been kind of nice to have at least the ship time listed here, and also a map of showing where you are on the itinerary. I mean, you basically can get that through the television by accessing information, ship information. But, you can't get it through this app, and that's a shame. It shouldn't be very hard for them to add that. But, that's one other little suggestion I have for if anybody from Princess or the Carnival Corporation watches this video. It's just one more suggestion that I have for you. So here's my final thoughts. This was our first Princess cruise, and we really liked the Regal Princess. We thought it was a beautiful ship. Um, Great entertainment. The food was excellent, particularly in the buffet. So if you haven't, if you're not a buffet person, you definitely need to try their buffet because in some sense, the food may have been slightly better in the buffet than in the main dining room. The service in the buffet was excellent. The main dining rooms were a little slow, but the as far as the entertainment goes, the cruise director we had was Lexi, and she was excellent. I don't know how she did it all because she tried to be at every entertainment venue, even though a lot of them were very close to overlapping. She ended up showing up, and we were very impressed with that. Okay, as far as the Medallion net system goes, the Ocean Medallion system, the Medallion net, the internet connection was excellent. For $9.99 a day, it's a bargain for a cruise ship. So if you've ever tried to use internet on board a cruise and was slow and kept getting disconnected all the time and everything, don't take that as what you'll find on the Regal Princess. It's definitely a superior internet system, and I hope they implement it on all the Princess ships because it definitely would sway me to go with Princess over some of the other lines with a slower internet access. The Ocean Medallion, that is not a fully implemented system. It's even though some publications said that the Regal Princess was the first time it was fully implemented, it's not. Like I said earlier, there are venues, bars around the ship that are not operational as far as ordering drinks. The automatic unlocking of your door is not that reliable. Again, I can envision some things that they could do to make that better. I suspect that some of the problem that we had was when my wife and I were walking together, it got confused because it detected two medallions that were, assigned to that room coming up to the door, and it may have gotten confused. It seemed like it might have worked a little bit better when I alone was approaching the door to unlock. So, that needs to be fine-tuned. The other thing that I really wish they would correct is the chat part of the program, because it really needs to have a notification sound. So if one of your shipmates sends you a message through chat, it needs to ring a bell. It would be nice to have ship bell, or even better, the horn sound from the Love Boat that they have, the multiple notes that they have. That would be a cute notification for chats. Ship information, some of that other stuff could be improved, a little more information, and definitely the search for wayfaring to a venue could be improved. So overall, it's not fully implemented. You shouldn't expect everything to work yet. Uh, would I go with another medallion cruise? Yeah, I would. It definitely has potential, and I would not discount that. Those people who say, "Oh, I wish I had the cruise card. The medallion is awful," and all that. I really think you should rethink that, because the medallion system has great potential to provide, like they say, a personalized experience. And so, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. I'll certainly try and answer them. And I can be reached pretty easily over Twitter. My Twitter handle is @PatPen. That's PATPEND. And I will answer those too. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Bye-bye.